Yo, what is good, everybody? It has been a second. Today, we're going to be doing some update hour on Trump and apparently host a roundtable for Antifa. I don't know, let's see.
Fortunately, great negotiators on the other side also. But it's something I think that will happen, got a good chance of happening. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week.
Today, we're going to be doing
Maybe on Sunday, actually, and we'll see. But there's a very good chance negotiations are going along very well. We're dealing with Hamas and many of the countries. As you know, we have all of the Muslim countries are included. All of the Arab countries are included. Very rich countries and some that are not so rich, but just about everybody's included. It's never happened before. Nothing like that's happened before. And our final negotiation, as you know, is with Hamas. And it seems to be going well. So we'll let you know. If that's the case, we'll be leaving probably on Sunday, maybe Saturday, maybe a little later than Saturday evening. But that seems to be our schedule. It should be clear to all Americans that we have a very serious left-wing terror threat in our country. Radicals associated with the domestic terror group Antifa that you've heard a lot about lately, and I've heard a lot about them for 10 years. And other far-left extremists have been carrying out a campaign of violence against ICE agents and other officials charged with enforcing federal law. In Chicago, anarchists have surveilled at least 4 local ICE facilities and posted diagrams of the buildings online, meaning nothing but bad, accompanied by photos of specific ICE agents that they're targeting, one in particular who's a top person and a great patriot. In July, approximately a dozen Antifa-aligned militants stormed the ICE facility in Texas and then lured officers out of the building before firing dozens of rounds at police. They were crazy, frankly, shooting one Texas officer in the neck. And in Portland, Oregon, Antifa thugs have repeatedly attacked our officers and laid siege to federal property in an attempt to violently stop the execution of federal law. Everything we're doing is very lawful. What they're doing is not lawful. And what the governor and the mayor of, as an example, you could say of Portland, and you can say certainly of Chicago, it's not lawful what they're doing. They have to be very careful. In addition, 2 weeks ago, a radical left terrorist in Dallas conducted a sniper attack on a local ICE facility, killing 2 people and leaving behind a note that read, "Hopefully this will give ICE agents some real terror." That's bad. This attack came the very same month that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a far-left extremist who inscribed the words, "Hey, fascist, catch," meaning catch the bullet.
Yeah, everybody, welcome in. Welcome
onto
in.
the bullet shelf itself. The epidemic of left-wing violence and Antifa-inspired terror has been escalating for nearly a decade. At universities, Antifa has organized riotous mobs to attack campus speakers. I see it all the time. And these are agitators, anarchists, and they're paid. And you'll find that out. You'll be finding it out very soon. You should see what we have on these people. These are bad people. These are people that want to destroy our country. We're not going to let it happen. They've used armed gangs to assault local police in cities nationwide, and they've attacked journalists reporting on their crimes. So the journalists that report on their crimes, don't worry, you're very safe. I hope that's not going to turn you around, but they have been very threatening to people, but we're going to be very threatening to them, far more threatening to them than they ever were with us, and that includes the people that fund them. Probably some of the people I know, some of the people I dine with, but if they do, they're in deep trouble. So we're going to be looking very.
All right, guys, you already know what time it is. It's time to spark up and try to keep up with the word vomit. Today's host,
a beautiful,
you know you ain't rolling like me.
beautiful paper, beautiful, nice, stiff, very expensive paper.
This is a
wood
big
handles,
paper.
All the same.
Trump is
color. They come
Delulu.
from very expensive printing machines. These are not people that write out their signs in a basement that believe in something. These are paid anarchists.
Paid actors.
At least 3 of these courageous journalists have personally been victims of Antifa attacks. Andy No has been repeatedly beaten by Antifa thugs for his work in Andy is
Yo, Ernest and Dottie, thank you for the subs on YouTube. Welcome in.
I've been watching him for long time. It's
You guys are the
Andy.
homies.
That's what I thought. Hello, Andy. I thought that was you. You're looking better than you do out on those streets, huh? You look much better. It's nice to have you. You feel a little safer here, I think, maybe. Well, not that safe because you have them. You have to worry about that. But thank you very much.
I'm trying to
As you know,
smoke a
it's been
Trump pack. You're
repeatedly
crazy.
beaten by Antifa, and including one assault that left him with a brain hemorrhage only days ago.
Yeah, that's what we're talking
Assault
about in 10
was
minutes. You already know the
assaulted
deal.
in Portland by a flag-burning mob, and we've made it 1-year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's
Be
been
careful. If
through
Trump wins the
courts,
vote of the
and
stoners,
the
we won't
courts
even
said
know what we're
you
voting
have
for.
freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. They've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts. This is what they do: is they incite. When you burn an American flag, you incite tremendous violence. We have many examples of it, many examples of it, and it's actually down on tape. And you see things happen that just don't happen unless it's the flag that's burning. Very recently,
Don't
Katie
be rude.
Davis
Chook,
Stewart
thank you
was
for the
hit
sub
in
on
the
YouTube.
face with
Welcome
a
in.
flagpole in Portland by an Antifa
Hit in the face
radical,
with a flagpole.
leaving her with a very
How
blackened
fucking strong
eye.
is this person?
So, Katie, thank you very much, and I'd like to.
Oh, puff,
also
pass.
say
My
that
bad,
I
chat.
watched
Hold on.
Nick. Where's Nick? Is Nick here?
My bad, chat.
Hi, Nick.
Take a big hit.
That was a rough time you went
Don't
through.
slow
I
down.
watched. I hope you got my little note. I wrote you a note.
Yo, is that the dude from Bob's Burgers?
I thought it was terrible.
No. Back it up.
So we'll talk about it.
Hold on. Everybody think
That was a
about the
rough time you
fucker in Bob's Burgers that sits at the desk. Listen to the voice.
went through. I watched. I hope you got my little note. I wrote you a note.
I really appreciate that. It helped a lot. It was a difficult situation. It was very stressful, and your note helped a lot. I truly appreciate it.
I thought it was terrible.
Chat, come on.
actually. I
Come
thought
on,
it was
chat.
terrible.
I'm on the
So
dot.
we'll talk about it a little bit. Under the last administration, the Department of Justice targeted faithful Catholics, Christians, and patriotic parents as domestic extremists. They said, oh, they're extreme because they believe in God. They're extreme because they go to a Catholic church, or evangelicals. Everybody was under the gun. Unless you were a really bad, sick person, then they left you alone. Under the Trump administration, we're going after Antifa criminals, and all who fund and support their campaigns are in serious trouble. And we have a lot of records already, a lot of surprises, a lot of bad surprises. It's people that you would never think. I want to thank Attorney General Pam Bondi, who, by the way, yesterday was incredible in Congress.
I want to thank everybody who
amazing.
double tapped
She
their
just did it
screens
from
and
the
liked
heart.
this stream. I
And
want to
the
thank you
brain
guys
was
for
very
real. You're the
smart,
true
in all
G.
fairness, but she
You
did
get
it
an
from
extra
the
hit
heart,
here.
and she did an incredible. Everybody was talking about it. She exposed some of these fake senators, these terrible senators, people like Blumenthal that had a phony war record. For 20 years, he talked about what a hero he was, and it turned out he never went to Vietnam. For 20 years, he talked about being a hero in Vietnam. Then it was exposed when he said what platoon he was with, and it was exposed that somebody was watching from that particular platoon. They said he was never with us. And then he went out and he cried and was ready to drop out of the election. And disgraceful. And then he looks at people like Pam and he starts
Smoking
criticizing
weed
them.
is
She's a
really bad for
patriot.
you. Well, so is Antifa. Let me deal with
We gotta
one
do
problem at a
something with
time.
that. You know, we have a young
Damn.
congressman that's right now in jail for lying about where he went to college and other things. It was, you know, frankly not good. It was pretty bad. But it was nothing compared to Blumenthal. I mean, what Blumenthal did, he was for 20 years a hero, a great war hero.
You got your
He
own
sits
Brad.
back and,
Roll up then, brother.
sanctimonious kind of a
We could be
guy.
smoking too right now.
Looks out, how dare you do this to the American public, you know? What a fake.
Chat, you don't even know what my
I thought
shirt
Pam was
says.
incredible yesterday, as well
This
as
shit says Biden will never take my
Secretary
guns.
Kristi Noem, who's, really
Can you guess
out
what
there
state I live in?
courageously, and I appreciate it, Kristi. Amazing what you're doing. FBI Director Kash Patel, who's really coming up with some great information, Kash. It's great. Keep it coming because there's plenty of it. Deputy Attorney General, one of the best lawyers you'll ever find. Todd Blanche, who I know personally is a good lawyer because I'm here. Very much. Good job, Todd. Let me ask Attorney General Bondi to say a few words, and then we'll follow it up with Secretary Noem and Director Patel. And we're going to
Arkansas is close.
people around the table, very courageous people. And they're going to be talking journalists, almost all. And they're going to be talking, and we'll take some questions from the press at the end. Okay, Pam, please.
Thank you, President Trump. And
Oh,
as you
Pam.
made clear, Antifa is a domestic left-wing terrorist organization. We've seen them on video for years.
Chad
because
loves
they
when
wanted
Pam
to be
comes
seen,
on.
and they got away with it. They beat
They got Betty
journalists,
Crocker next to her.
They attack courthouses. They attack police stations. They dox and assault our law enforcement officers. The Biden administration let them commit these crimes with total impunity for years. So did Democrat leaders like Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson. Last week, independent journalist Nick Sorter was arrested just for protecting himself against Antifa. I saw it online and I called Nick. I couldn't believe what happened. He did all this just trying to save our American flag from being burned. He was pushed down and assaulted, yet the local police arrested Nick, not the Antifa thugs who did this to him.
Who the fuck is Nick?
Antifa feels empowered to operate in the open because weak Democrats have turned a blind eye to their actions. Their hatred for President Trump and for law and order agendas
Well, then
fuels
don't
their
vote,
violence.
JMS. The hell?
We've seen more than 1,000%,
Tennessee's close.
1,000% increase in
You like my
attacks
new hair?
against our ICE agents
It's not
since
new.
January 20th. Secretary Noem is out there fighting for you firsthand to keep our federal officers safe, to keep our federal buildings safe, and we're not
Correct
gonna have
airship.
any more these thugs. We saw what's happening in Portland and Chicago, and you saw what happened in Dallas. No longer. This is not activism, it's anarchy. We can't and we will not let masked terrorists burn our buildings, attack our law enforcement, and intimidate our communities. Under your leadership, President Trump, we're deploying the full might of the federal law enforcement to crack down on Antifa and other domestic terrorist organizations led by Stephen Miller. And Stephen, thank you for everything you're doing. Last week, I issued a memo ordering our federal law enforcement agents, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, and ATF to protect
It'll think you're
ICE
posting
officers
links
from
if you don't
Antifa
put spaces
and other
between your
radical
periods.
left-wing
I did see your
violence.
message.
Director
Don't worry.
Patel has been going non-stop. He and Deputy Attorney General Blanche were in Chicago yesterday. While Secretary Noem was in Portland, we are around this country fighting against this domestic terrorism.
That t-shirt is awesome. Thank
We
you.
had Apple and Google take down the ICE block apps. Hope they continue to comply with that. It's threatening the safety of our federal law enforcement officers. We're not
There
gonna
were
stop
ICE
at
block
just arresting the
apps?
violent criminals
How
we
the
can
hell
see
does
in the
that work?
streets. Fighting crime is more
There's
than
an
just
app that
getting
was
the
keeping
bad
ICE
guy
away?
off the streets. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick. Just like we did with cartels, we're going to take the same approach, President Trump, with Antifa. Destroy the entire organization from top to bottom. We're going to take them apart. Thanks to your bold leadership and the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization, which is exactly what they are, Americans will no longer tolerate their unhinged violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pam.
Okay.
Well,
Christy.
thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting today and focusing on Antifa and the terrorists that they are.
Chad, who would
Let's
win
not
in a
make
fight, Pam or
mistake.
Christy?
These individuals do not just want
If they had to go
threaten
toe-to-toe,
our
no
law enforcement
weapons.
officers, threaten our journalists.
Who you
and
got?
the citizens of this country, they want to kill them. Their agenda is to destroy the American people and our way of life, and this president is standing in their way. He is stopping them from bringing their death and their destruction to the individual citizens in this country that just want to raise their kids and their grandkids in peace and in safety. I want to also thank everyone around this table for being so bold
14
and so
minutes,
brave,
Peppermint.
for standing up and recognizing the threat that Antifa is to our way of life. By
Pam all day?
recognizing how
You guys say
advanced they
Pam's
are,
gonna win?
how sophisticated
Yeah, she's
their
crazy,
networks
isn't she?
are, how they've infiltrated our entire country, and we're seeing them play out with their tactics from city to city, and how they have built out their funding mechanisms. And sir, I also want to thank
I see
our,
people going for Christy.
Treasury Secretary for his work and
Christy,
getting to
they
the
think you
bottom
might have it.
of these funding mechanisms and individuals who are perpetuating.
All right, Chad, but who's going to win?
American cities.
Trump
I was in
or
Portland yesterday and had
Christy
the
and
chance to
Pam
visit with
teamed
the
up?
governor of Oregon Morgan and also the mayor.
Christie and Pam versus
They're in
Trump.
town, and they
Who's
are
winning?
absolutely
They might not even have to
ramping
team up.
the terrorism that is hitting their streets. While you talked about some of the stories of our ICE agents, our Border Patrol agents, how they have been attacked, how they have been shot at, injured, the damage that they've done, these leaders in these local cities, along with Pritzker and Johnson, ignore what's going on, or, sir, they're helping Antifa
Don't be
cover it
rude.
up. We have arrested dozens of individuals.
Mark
who are
Driver, thank you for the
Antifa
sub on
members
YouTube. Welcome
or
in.
affiliated with them, and I want to thank our Attorney General
Yo,
for
Trump.
prosecuting them and making sure they never
Yo,
see
they
the
think
light
you
of
could
day
take him.
They have been so bold.
Did
to
he
make
be
it so
flirting,
bring
bro? Look at him, he's
those
asleep
individuals
right
to justice.
now.
One of the individuals we arrested recently
Oh, no, he's
in
up.
Portland was the girlfriend of
Wide
one of the
awake.
founders of Antifa, and that we are hoping that as we go after her, interview her, and prosecute her, we will get more and more information about the network and how we can root them out and eliminate them from the existence of American society. I want to thank the new journalists here today for telling their stories and for being able and
Chad,
willing
you're
to go to
crazy.
the streets and to cover.
Can't even
what's
read some of
happening
these
in
out loud.
America. Many times the legacy media has looked the other way, refused to tell the stories. The networks have not really focused on what this is and what damage it is doing to our country, and how this network of Antifa is just as sophisticated as MS-13, as TDA, as ISIS, as Hezbollah, as Hamas, as all of them. They are just as dangerous. They have an agenda to destroy us, just like the other terrorists we've dealt with for many, many years. And today is the day that we have a president that won't tolerate it and will
Get 'em.
stand up and fight for the American people. So thank you for being here, for being so bold, and for standing in the gap at such a time as this. It will matter. It will make a difference, and your life will be one of significance because of what you.
All right, chat.
So with that,
Here's
happy
an
Easter.
ultimatum.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Fuck, marry, kill Pam, Christie, and
Yes,
Trump.
please.
Everybody put it right now. Fuck,
Mr.
marry, kill
President,
Pam,
the American
Christie, and
people
Trump.
gave you a sweeping
You gotta
mandate
pick.
and victory in this election cycle, and they demanded safety and security for our citizens. And your administration, with your leadership, has provided us with the resources that we need.
Who is this?
Which is a whole of
What's his name?
government approach.
I can't
to
see.
go after criminals absolutely everywhere, not just
This is a
outside of
stern-looking
country,
man
but
right
within
here.
this country.
Looks like
And
FBI.
that takes a whole of government approach. The interagency seated up here with the Department of Homeland Security, our Attorney General, our Deputy Attorney General, and your White House staffers, and including Stephen Miller's leadership, has allowed us to go out there and map out these networks. What we are doing at the FBI is simple. It does not require rocket science. We are following the money. Money never lies. And that's what it's going to take to bring down this network of organized criminal thugs, gangbangers, and yes, domestic terrorists, because that's what they are. They are harming everyday citizens in every single one of our communities. And the
Patel,
folks
head
that
of
sit here
FBI
and
now?
write
I knew
about
it,
some of the
dude.
bravest men and
How did I
women we
know?
have today. They're reporting the stories live time because the mainstream media.
It just
won't
looks
cover
like it.
They're putting
CIA,
their lives on the
FBI.
line. They're standing up for the flag. The least we can do is stand up for them. So you have my thanks. I read more of your stories than I do theirs because you guys are putting out the truth. And we deserve a country where you are protected as equally as they are. We, in this FBI, will go after with the criminals with a vengeance. We will not rest until we find every single seed, money, donor, organization, and funding mechanism that we have. And I want to echo the Secretary's comments on Scott Bessent, who's allowing us to map out these networks through their financial criminal activities, which has been going on for decades. And I would like to remind the American public, they built this disease temple of corruption over decades. And in 8 short months, Mr. President, you have crippled their foundation because of your leadership here, because of the interagency, because of people like Deputy Attorney General Blanche, and because of Attorney General Pam Bondi's fearless leadership to go after criminals wherever they are. They will not be able to hide. They were able to hide and conspire with prior administrations, and we are exposing their corruption from within.
I'd be yelling
We
out,
will go to
gang,
every
gang.
single city in this country under Operation Summer Heat and the other operations we are doing at the FBI to bring these criminals to justice. We will arrest every single one of them from whatever perch you sit in, private or public, no matter high your goal.
Still
or your
Antifa.
ambition is, it will be crushed by the Constitution because the American people deserve law and order, and that's what we're going to give you.
Rude, I don't know if we can get much lower. You already sound like you're on the ground.
Oh, maybe we'll start over here. Would any of you like to say something? Feel free. You can say it in front of a fine group of people.
They say I'm not
Also
fucking talking.
journalists and reporters.
Everybody's looking. Who's next?
You want to start?
He's
Go
up.
ahead.
Absolutely.
Whoa!
President Trump,
I love his
members
fit.
of the cabinet really appreciate,
Sorry for that yell
you
warning.
guys
Look at this
bringing
guy's fit.
together. And the fact that we are
He dressed
here
up.
today in- on
Yo, he's
such
clean,
short
too.
notice,
The fuck?
shows how
Don't be
serious you
rude.
guys are taking this issue.
Ross, thank you for the sub on
trans
YouTube.
terrorists
Welcome
and
in.
the frankly, the cities and police departments that are cooperating with Antifa, such as Portland. I mean, the Portland politicians are literally willing to sacrifice their own citizens just to appease these Antifa terrorists. It's sickening. I've seen it firsthand, obviously. When I went to jail that night, never expected it to happen. I thought that they were maybe removing me for my own safety. It never crossed my mind that I was the one that was being arrested.
Wait, this
for
is the guy that got arrested?
After I was just thrown into a hole. I heard from the Department of Homeland Security after I had gotten out of jail, and one of your, I won't say exactly who it was, but somebody very close to Secretary Noem over here said that they were legitimately worried
Ouch,
for my
this is a
safety
long
in the
joint,
Portland
guys.
jail. But luckily, the Portland
This is how far
jail
we in. You
was,
guys want another
I was
hit?
the only one there,
Take a
essentially,
hit.
because they don't actually arrest people in Portland, besides conservative journalists, I guess. So, look, I'm glad that it was not a good night for me. Let's just say that. It was not fun sitting in that jail.
Why is this guy holding back a smile? This guy's fucking smiling.
I've been able to talk to a bunch of
He's been trying to hold back his laugh this whole time, bro.
DHS agents that I didn't even know existed.
He's second-guessing his
until
story.
I went there and went to that ICE facility, and the morale is at an all-time high. It is so exciting to see these guys know now that they have the backing of the Secretary, the DOJ, as well as the President of the United States, and they are there to do their job. They are going to fulfill this mission and deport these violent criminals. I believe one of the ones that I did a ride along with Secretary.
Nah,
Noem,
dude on the
where
left,
he was
Mr.
from,
Stern, look at
and
him.
There was a
He has not broke a
that
sweat.
had come into the country 5 times over the past 7 years. 7 years, and apparently under the Biden regime, that was just allowed to happen. That was fine, no problem. It's concerning to me that you're seeing
Staying
the Portland
updated with
Police
my
Department,
country
as well as the governor of
is
Oregon,
not equal
and
to
the mayor, of course, coming out and
being a
running
politician.
defense for
I don't care about
pedophiles that have entered
politics.
the
I just
country
need to know
illegally
what's
5
happening in
times.
my country.
It's crazy. I'm glad.
Surprise,
it's taken
surprise, this isn't a
front
politics
row
channel,
seat
guys.
in the media, and you know they're being forced to talk about it in reality because you know we're the ones
Just
that are
an
on the ground.
American.
We're the ones that are actually reporting what's going on.
Gotta see what's happening.
You know, much
Am
of the
I in
left media
danger?
has been either ignoring it or covering for
knows?
Antifa for years now. So thank you guys so much for taking this seriously. And President Trump, you mentioned that flag. So remember, you put out a truth right after.
Yo, this guy came.
I,
Oh my, is that the flag?
Took this flag from that man that was burning it in the street.
Do you know who he is?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who it is. It's
So
Don't
why
be
don't you
rude.
give it to Pam? Give it to the Attorney
Eric,
General and
Eric
let's,
Nicolaisian.
start
Thank you for the
prosecution.
sub on YouTube.
Yeah.
Welcome
I actually
in.
have a second flag that he
Nicholson?
tried to burn as well. So I have 2 of them from
Well,
the
you
same
also
guy.
saw what happened when that flag started burning. Everyone went crazy. And that's when it started, when they started burning the flag. So thank you. If you could give the information, it would be great.
This is
And at least
Trump
the
hosting a
horrible
White House around
things.
Antifa. That
You got
He was
something.
already
I got a text
I mean,
from the
Trump
President of the
hosting a
United States. I
roundtable. Did I
appreciate
say
that.
hosting a
And
White House?
President Trump, after that happened to Nick, I called Harmeet Dillon and we opened a pattern and practice investigation into the Portland police very publicly as to how they let this happen.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, Brandy Cruz, you're going to hear us be very fired up today, and you can tell, and it's because some of us have been covering Antifa for 15 years and have never had anyone in a position of authority even acknowledge their existence. And I'll also tell you that I think that had you not done, the single most powerful thing you've done to deal with this scourge has been acknowledging that Antifa is a real thing. I genuinely believe there would be people at these tables who would be dead today and would have been killed in Portland had you not called them a terror organization and said we're going to bring the full weight of the federal government to bear. I talked to Katie Daviscourt in Portland the other day. She's been assaulted all summer. And she said the same thing. They didn't seem quick to violence as soon as you made that designation. So they're thinking in their heads. They're worried. There's been 24 or so arrested in Portland. They don't want to go to federal prison. There's this video of them, one of them who was in the face of an ICE agent, and then he's in shaking.
Daniel,
Once you take
Barbara,
the
and
mask off,
Tim, thank you for the subs on
they're
YouTube.
nothing.
Welcome in.
and I was told by probably a dozen people not to tell you this. I'm going to tell it to you anyway, because it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS. I had strong Trump derangement syndrome for probably 8 years.
Don't be rude.
That's what that means?
This is one of the reasons
not Trump
I
dick
recovered from it.
sucking?
And by the way, It's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier,
Hold
I'm
on.
healthier, more successful. I even think I got a little more attractive.
Am I
After
fucking
identifying
wrong?
Trump syndrome. Yes. I'm a reporter in Seattle, and frankly, I could not care any less what any of you have to say about this meeting. Could not care any less. We're not here for you. I'm not here to convince any of you that Antifa is a real thing, because if you have not come to that conclusion by now, you are never going to come to that conclusion because you don't want to see it. And you're going to go and you're going to say it's a bunch of right-wing conservative influencers who are here spinning a tale. I was one of you. I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years. I was a TV reporter on the streets doing my job, and I was still assaulted by Antifa. So it's not about being conservative. It's about people who go there and show what they're doing. And when I saw, after all those years, that the media wouldn't be honest about what was happening, that Democratic politicians wouldn't be honest about what was happening, I thought, well,
Robert,
gosh,
Lisa
they're not being
Sandros,
honest about that.
Zwar,
Maybe they're not being
Sirac,
honest about
Double A,
President Trump
Clint,
either. And it opened my mind to
Technician.
just looking at
Thank you
things
for the
what
subs
they
on
were.
YouTube. You guys
And
all
now I
rock.
find you
Welcome
quite
in.
Funny, actually. Don't be rude. No, it's like I said, I'm much happier about it. But for me, again, I could not care any less the stories that they go to print. This is what I care about. We have 3.5 years. Nothing is guaranteed, although I think if Democrats keep it up, we'll probably have Republican presidents for the next 3 decades. But nothing is guaranteed, and so what I want to see over the next 3.5 years is a full court press to dismantle Antifa once and for all in a meaningful way. I know, Andy, we talked before this about some ideas. That's really what we want to. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what Democrats say. They will never wake up to this fact. So we want the federal government to take as many of these cases as possible, look at the interstate travel between Portland and Seattle when it comes to these people who are committing violent acts, and hopefully in 3.5 years, they will be a shell of their former
Yo, how many people do I have in here from the UK? Raise your hand in the chat right now if you live in the UK.
Many others, bad ones. Most have been named terrorist organizations. There are a couple that we're going to, but I think we've got it pretty well covered. But there are many others, but very specifically today it's Antifa, and it's really bad, and we're going to get it cleaned up. Andy, do you have something? Thank you very much. I'm glad you no longer have TDS. I feel very good about that.
Yo, chat. TDS is not Trump dick sucking. I thought that's what that shit meant, bro.
Have a lot of gratitude.
Trump derangement syndrome. Brian Hayes, thank you for the sub on YouTube. Welcome in.
In Portland, Oregon, from there. And growing up, it's always been left-wing, very progressive, and I liked it. It had cafes and artists.
If you're
those who lived
Matt
the
Smith,
bohemian
yeah, I know you're in the
lifestyle.
UK.
And in 2016,
You're the doctor.
I was a graduate student at Portland
Chat,
State.
everybody let me
studying
know right now, if you're in the
science. I was
UK,
an
who would you
editor of
rather
a
prefer
student
having,
paper,
Trump
a
or
very
Starmer?
progressive paper, and I was assigned to cover the election night demonstrations. Well, the elections night protests turned to riots, 3 days of violent rioting in Portland, and it was the first time that I saw groups dressed in black with their faces covered. This is 4 years before COVID. Some of them were waving
Talk about
the
Antifa though,
flag
right?
of anarchism, some the red flag of Marxism. And within seconds, they would ravage one street to another, to another, to another. And the next day, I would read the legacy media, which
Yeah,
I
see,
saw
that's
at
what I
the time
thought.
and looked forward to.
Last time I had a politics stream and he hosted Starmer, I realized the UK likes Trump more than they like Starmer.
Was that these?
Oh, I see one Starmer.
Anti-democratic
Both are too old. Fair.
political violence was legitimate acts of protest because people were concerned about racism or all these other lies. And so for the next
Hey, you guys got your host
4
back
years,
though.
I just continued going
Who
out
was
with
it that
my
got
video
canceled?
camera. I thought, look, people can ignore what I write because of spin. but
Lisa, thank you for the
videos
sub on
speak
YouTube.
for
Welcome in.
themselves. And in 2019, it led to me nearly losing my life. I was covering another Antifa protest turned riot. At that point, had been routine in Portland, and then I was ambushed in a mob beating. And I had never been in a fight. I didn't even realize that I was being assaulted until seconds in. And the punches came from everywhere on my head and my face, and I was bleeding out of my eyes and ears. And then they threw all the drinks in my eyes to humiliate me further and to laugh at me. And I was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance and CT scan, and I had subarachnoid hemorrhage, which is bleeding in the brain. I nearly died. And after surviving that, the reporting that I saw in liberal media it seemed to suggest that I had deserved it because they branded me far right, and some even went so far as to suggest
Yo,
that
Trump
I
does not
maybe
look like
faked my
he's
injuries. A
truly
BuzzFeed
listening.
reporter asked for my medical records, which
He looks
I did
really
provide,
sleepy. His eyes
but
are
this
red.
felt so. It's like because I didn't die in that attack, there was another round of people who wanted to finish me off. But I continued, and then 2020, Portland was
The
really
majority do not like
the
Trump in the
epicenter
UK.
of the longest political violence.
But
Those
you're also
months
saying
of
they don't like
riots, I was
Starmer.
underground, undercover, and there was an assassination there. There was a supporter of Donald Trump named Aaron Danielson who was
Right.
shot dead by a self-described Antifa
So who do you
member
like?
who then fled out of state and died in
Literally,
a
Starmer's
U.S.
wet
hospital.
lettuce. Like,
In 2021,
That's what chat says.
I returned undercover, naively thinking that enough time had passed, and was chased through the streets of downtown and beaten.
he's stoned
nearly
too.
choked out. The person who was trying to choke me out held me so tightly that I had the blood, the vessels in my eyes burst.
I'm not laughing at
One of the
this guy. What
symptoms
he's
of my
saying
eyes
sounds
were
awful.
completely red
I hope
after
that never
I was
happens to anyone. That
hospitalized.
sounds fucking
So,
terrible. I'm
Thank
laughing
you
at
so
Trump.
much for acknowledging Antifa,
'Cause it's funny.
and for directing your administration to treat them as domestic terrorists. It's going
He's
to
like
be
on
really
autopilot.
challenging because how they organize is that they are decentralized, autonomous, and they operate on deception. And we're still to this day told that they don't exist.
Nice
It's a
photo.
figment of our imagination.
That's what it looks like.
I think the DOJ could look at federal conspiracy charges. The state of California and San Diego County last year broke up an Antifa cell in San Diego. And I think maybe perhaps the State Department should designate Antifa its international arm as a foreign terrorist organization.
Joel, thank you for the
So
sub on
thank you so
YouTube.
much for
Welcome
this
in.
invitation, Mr. President.
Guys, if you want the full
Thank you very
screen, you
much.
can go to Twitch. I'm also live
That's
on
a
there.
rough time you had, huh? So the choke
But the
out
good
was,
chat's on YouTube. I can't lie.
Almost the end, you felt?
Yeah, that was my only near-death experience in my life, and I'm.
Oh, dude,
quite
go back to them.
shaken
It's
when I
that other
think
guy
about it
talking.
now.
The dude that was trying to hold in his laughs.
It really feels unbelievable to me that on the streets of America that this type of violence against citizens could become so routine and accepted and cheered on.
That's what I'm
by
trying to do.
people.
It's not showing who's
Although,
talking.
you
We're
know, in
looking at
the
Trump.
Immediate aftermath of Mr. Kirk's assassination.
think it's
we
the
saw
guy that was
again
sitting all the way to the
that
right.
depravity play out on quite large swaths of the left. So there's a deep sickness that's in this country right now, and it pains me a lot to acknowledge it.
Yeah, the amazing thing is you look at Portland, and you see fires all over the place. You see fights and, I mean, just violence. It's just so crazy. And then you talk
It's
to
like
the
that in a lot of
governor, and she
places.
acts like everything is totally normal. There's nothing wrong. It's almost like, are you waking up from a dream or something? You see it on your network. You see it all over the place. And it's so bad. It's so crazy. It's like the movies you see for the kids, I guess not only the kids, adults also, where you have these bombed out cities and these bombed out people. It's like worse than that. I don't think they could make a movie as bad. And then the governor will get up and say,
Don't
I
be
don't
rude.
know why they're coming here. It's such a wonderful
Lucia,
place. And the
Ayub, thank you
amazing
for the
thing is
sub
the
on
people
YouTube.
want
Welcome
us to
in.
be there. The people, when they get the real people that live there, many of them have left, but the real people want us to be. The same thing in Chicago. So
Don't be
they've
rude.
had 60, 70 murders over a short period of time. Murders, people that got shot. They've had hundreds of people shot, and then a guy like Pritzker, or this low IQ mayor, gets up. I mean, he got up. He's got a 5% approval rating, and the people are all against him. They want people to come. Beautiful black women are wearing a MAGA hat last night on television. Beautiful people, and they said, we don't care who comes, just stop the crime. They don't care, frankly, they don't care if it's National Guard and military. Send in anybody you want, stop the crime. And they're afraid to go out. They can't even go out. And then a guy like Pritzker, think of that.
All right,
50,
chat.
60, 70 people. over
Joint's
short
almost
period,
out. I'll let you guys get one more
actually
hit.
murdered.
Savor it.
Mostly gun violence, but knives, but gun violence. They're murdered, and hundreds of people shot. They had one weekend.
You all need a hit
they
because
had
some of
like
y'all are
18 murdered,
too
and
angry in chat.
71 shot. But they said, you know what their excuse is? Yeah, but it was a long weekend. In other words, it was
Yeah,
a
I
long
know the
weekend,
J's
so that
still
was
go.
okay.
Did you see how long that
And then Pritzker
motherfucker was when we
comes up and
started?
says, like,
It's been going for 30
I
minutes.
don't know what they're talking about. We don't have crime here. They're crazy. I think actually they're petrified. You know, their
Don't be
families
rude.
live there, everything else. I actually think they're scared. Pritzker was a failure in his family. They threw him out of the
June,
family
Jay,
business.
Slinky, and Kenny.
Guys are
Thank you
losing.
for the subs on
You know what?
YouTube.
They
Welcome in.
actually,
You sound
I
like
believe they're
my
scared.
cousins at a family
They're actually
reunion.
frightened
Don't
for
be
their
rude.
lives. Jack, please say a few words.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having us here today and holding this this roundtable. Antifa is real.
Don't be rude.
Antifa has been around in various iterations for
What side am I on?
almost 100 years in some instances, going back to the
I
Weimar
didn't vote this
Republic in
last time,
Germany.
actually.
And it's now been just under 1 month since
Don't be
we
rude.
saw a far leftist murder Charlie Kirk, and we saw thousands upon thousands of people, other far leftists, and
I don't,
people in positions of authority.
I say this probably every stream, but I don't really identify with a side. I identify with the pick. So, like, I'll vote for whoever I think is better. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if they're Democratic, Republic, other. If I think that they're the best pick, that's who I vote for.
People like nurses and pilots.
I don't
and
just
doctors,
autopilot
departments
to a
celebrate
particular stance.
The death and the murder of Charlie Kirk. This sickness that's out there is absolutely real. And Mr. President, thank you for mentioning the fact that one of the bullet casings read, "Hey fascist, catch" on it. One of the other bullet casings right next to that.
Why didn't I vote? Because I didn't know enough. I didn't study enough into the choices. Kamala or Trump, I couldn't have a choice there. I wasn't keeping up with it enough. It wasn't my focus at the time.
Don't be rude.
I do plan to vote next time. Jonathan and SV Jackal, thank you for the subs on YouTube. Welcome in.
Like Luigi Maggioni, in his 20s, Thomas Matthew Crooks, of course, who took a shot at you, sir. The
Yeah, I'm
ice
an
leader in
independent. Is
Dallas,
that what it's
now
called?
this Tyler Robinson. We're starting
Neutral.
to see a pattern of more and more murderous violence. And this same violence is not just random. It is targeted assassinations, which are getting worse. And every single one of us in this room that goes out there, and obviously you as well, sir, and all the staff, we are now under that threat every single day. And
Do I regret not voting?
USA, and I've spent just about the last month out there in Phoenix with Erica, with the family. With
Again, like I said, I just didn't study into it enough.
Even though going through
Honestly, until I started doing these update hours with you guys, I did not know enough about politics and like what each particular side and party represented. But then after doing these like hundreds of hours with you guys now, I think now I have enough of an opinion and like enough knowledge to actually vote and like participate in that system. Before I just felt like there was no need. Like why cast my vote if I can't even back up why I'm doing it, you know?
like that, which is an
But now I feel
absolute
like I know, right?
And people say,
So next
what was
time
it
I'll
like
let
to
you guys
speak
know who I'll
of
pick.
all those people?
WHH, thank you for the sub on
Every
YouTube.
second of it was horrible.
Welcome in.
But we're not going to quit. And Turning
This
Point
guy
USA
again.
is continuing the tour that Charlie was on. We had 6,000 people when we went back to Utah. We had 5,000 people last night in Montana, if you can believe that. We are continuing to organize on campus. We are getting more and more people coming out in the face of this threat, knowing what happened to Charlie. But Mr. President, we need to do something about this because I fear that the next one who could be killed could be sitting at this table right now. And we're not going to stop, but they need to stop, and they will not stop until they are stopped. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it very much. One thing I have to say is that Washington, D.C. was almost as bad. I don't know what could be worse than Portland. You don't even have sewers anymore. They don't even put glass up. They put plywood on their windows. But most of the retailers have left. But Washington, D.C. was so bad. And Pam, I'd say it took 12 days to really make it pretty good and a month to make it great. And now people are going out to dinner. The restaurants are booming. They don't have enough seats. They're opening up new restaurants because many of them closed. And people are walking down the street totally safe. A reporter, I'm not sure if she's there. I can't see somebody reported it. She is. She was violently assaulted. And I don't know, she tends to be somewhat liberal, but she wasn't liberal on this one. I appreciated your honesty, but that won't happen again. It won't happen again. You're lucky you're alive, frankly, with what happened. I know exactly what took place. So Washington, D.C., our capital, we thought we'd start there appropriately, and it's safe, and people are so happy. They're so happy. and now it's a couple of months. I went to dinner there. I felt totally safe. I gave a press conference right in the middle of the street, which I don't think Secret Service was thrilled about. But, you know, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have wanted to do it 6 months ago. It's incredible what happened. Now we're in Memphis, as you know. We're having a
They
great
are in
impact
Memphis.
It's
That is
something,
very close to me.
only a week, but it's Cash.
It's
I hear
kinda nutty, I'm not gonna lie
amazing
to you.
What's happening there, just very early. But you take a look at D.C. and you take a look at some of the other. We've had a big impact there. What we haven't said, because Pritzker said, well, crime is going down in Chicago. Well, 5 months ago, Cash went to Chicago with a lot of FBI agents just to prepare it, so that we went in with, I guess you could call it a surge, call it whatever you want, but would be even more effective. And we're going to be doing that, and very, very strongly doing that, because.
So what's his
Chicago
plan?
is a
Just
very
like
unsafe
go around
city. It's a
every
great
dangerous
city. The
city?
head of the Union Pacific Railroad said, sir, please save Chicago. It's a great city. It can be saved. Other cities are gone. I mean, they're lost. They can get better, but they're just really, they've been so decimated.
Can't be
But,
gone, bro. Not
I'm so
before the
proud of what
Riftbound
they've done
releases.
so quickly in D.C., and it's taking place quickly in Memphis, where we were asked to go by the mayor and by the governor. And it's really incredible what we can do. And
I'm in
how
DC.
fast we
These are
can do it.
lies. I don't know why Taco
Let's
Tits is
go
making
to
like he's
two
doing
more.
something.
Would you like to go? And then Katie, you'll go. Okay, please.
What is it still
Thank
dangerous?
you, Mr. President.
Or is it
For
not
having us
dangerous,
here.
Matthew?
And, you know, not to sound like a broken record, but it needs to be said that Antifa is real. It's real. It's a threat. I just saw them last weekend over in Portland while they're causing mayhem over there. And the reason why they're such a big problem is because we have Democrats and a lot of people in the mainstream media refusing to acknowledge that they even exist, right? So how can we as a country begin to address it when you have large swaths of, you know, these people who are supposedly decision makers and, you know, people who are supposed to inform, they don't want to say that it exists. You know, because the common argument is like, well, they're not a real organization because there's no national leadership. They don't have a national headquarters. So
Why
how
don't they
can
show who's
law
talking?
enforcement go after a group that
Like,
doesn't
flip the
exist like
cam,
that?
bro.
Because well, yeah, law enforcement goes after criminal groups that organize to.
Nah,
rob
Memphis was
banks
getting a
or
little
use national
crazy.
grabs.
I can't
They
say
don't
none
have
of them
a
cities are
registered LLC.
dangerous.
They don't have official membership
Memphis is getting a
cards.
little
They don't
crazy.
have, you know, a business address, but law enforcement still goes after them because they're working as a group. These people don't just show up, you know, randomly at the same time to do the same thing, dressed in a very similar fashion, espousing the same ideology. And they say, well, it's an ideology. It's like, well, yes, it's an ideology.
I lived
because
in
there's
Portland.
people
It was a
alive,
shithole.
present, that believe in it, and they're acting.
I always wanted to go
And
check
so
out Oregon.
I've been very well
Where there's a
aware
lot of
of
rain.
what Antifa's been doing. I was very busy during the riots in 2020. That was
Baba
probably,
Yaga.
my
The
most
fu-
exposure to them
from Spirited
prior to this
Away?
year. You know, I've been at the ICE facility at Broadview. I'm originally from the Chicagoland area, unfortunately, but that's where I grew up around. Like I said, I was in Portland. I was covering the riots in Los Angeles as well. And probably one of the most disturbing parts about that is, in addition to Antifa being present, there.
Yo,
they
everybody
were
double tap
tagging
your screens. We're almost to
the
100
streets
likes.
with,
We got
CPMG,
600 dudes in
which
here.
is
Everybody tap
Cartel
that screen.
Jalisco
You know what I'm
Nueva
saying?
Generación, which is a cartel. So you have these people who are working basically in concert with other terrorist groups to say that we're here, we're present, and we're gonna attack federal agents and people who are gonna expose what we do. And so, to be clear, political violence, sustained political violence that we're seeing in this country is not a both sides issue.
Memphis got to be top 10. Chaotic,
you
for
know,
sure.
I was at Charlie Kirk's memorial in Glendale recently. Conservative gathering, totally peaceful. It was the most peaceful gathering that I've been at. Every other time that I've been covering.
Yes, sir. Over 100
violence in the
likes.
streets, just
I'd
this
love
year,
to
you
see
know,
it.
forgetting- Just this year, it's always been.
Whoever them
left-wing
10 people were, you're
radical
fucking
left-wing people.
big
And
kahunas.
it's not even just Antifa anymore. I mean,
Why,
the shooting that happened
EBSA, thank you for the
in,
subs on
the
YouTube. Welcome
defensive
in.
shooting that happened in the Chicago area. You know, that wasn't someone dressed in black bloc. That was just somebody that had taken upon themselves to go out and try to interfere and ram federal vehicles. So people are becoming more and more radicalized, and it was to be expected, unfortunately. And the reason why we're in this position today is because after I was done covering the riots, I was at the border from the San Diego sector all the way down to the Rio Grande Valley sector, covering the border crisis month after month. And we all knew the solution to that. We all knew why it was happening. It's because, well, it's racist to have a border. It's like, well, actually, it's not, but okay. And so it required you to come back into office and to fix the problem, but it's no longer just a border issue. It's a nationwide issue, and that's one of the reasons why you got elected back into office, because thankfully the American people said we're not going to deal with it anymore. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people, as we've seen, who are willing to take to the streets to do violence. And that's a scary thing because typically when I was in 2020, I was covering Minneapolis, Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle. I was over in Chaz. And that was to be
Baba
expected.
Yaga,
But now, because the issue of
Chicago?
immigration, illegal immigration is so
Portland,
widespread,
same as
riots can
Chicago?
happen anywhere.
Baba
Attacks can
Yaga's a
happen anywhere.
place?
So that's why it was weird kind of going back to my home
But you
state
guys
to
have seen
cover
Spirited
this
Away.
violence.
You know what I'm talking
I mean,
about.
Just after the Dallas shooting, they were chanting outside Broadview, shoot ICE, shoot those.
What is it, Christadelphian? Philadelphian Christians?
So I'll just leave that. Thank you so much again for having this.
Vaping is a feminine trait?
This is very dangerous.
The fuck?
We don't work for companies that have billions.
You
of
look like
dollars.
you got a
We're
Marlboro sticking out of
running
your
them
mouth.
Often
Disgusting.
on our own.
That shit out of
we became
here.
Friends. A lot of us are friends because we would see each other all the time, and we became friends because we wanted to have someone watch our back while we're out there. Because like I said, we're just out there.
But your wife has
And,
good taste
but
and
we'll
flavor.
continue to do it because it's an important topic. It's an important issue. The American people deserve to know what's happening in these chaotic situations, and we're more than happy to do it. So thank you, sir.
Great job. Thank you very much. Katie?
If you're talking about me, then you in the wrong place, Brylo.
Hi, Mr. President. It is an honor being here today, and I first wanted to
Look over
start
at the
by
top of the
thanking you
screen.
guys
Whose
for
name's up there?
designating
Whose channel is
Antifa
this?
a terrorist group. It's exactly what this group is. It's a long time coming. I'm an investigative journalist from Seattle. I work for the Post Millennial alongside Andy No and Jack Posobiec. I have been infiltrating Antifa cells in Seattle and Portland for the
Oh,
past decade.
infiltrating.
I know their inner workings, and Antifa uses extreme political violence to crush the civil rights of their political
Yo, I didn't know
enemies
Solid
and
Snake
believes
looked like
violence
that.
is justified by any means necessary.
What I gotta
But
sign up
today,
for?
I want to focus on what is happening in Portland at the ICE facility. I've been covering this for the past 4 months, and this is a call out to corporate media who has completely ignored this story or has falsely reported
Oh,
on
fuck,
it.
it's your channel?
This is nothing short
Shit, I
other
fucked
than
up.
a sustained attack
I don't even know
on
how I
the
got
United
here then.
States, which is being supported
Took control
by
of this shit.
Democratic elected officials. The Portland Police Bureau has completely abandoned several blocks.
Dude, this is a
outside the
fucking
ICE facility, giving
agent, bro.
away
She's
their
invasive.
jurisdiction to a terrorist group who has spent the past 4 months
She's a
harassing,
ninja.
assaulting, and intimidating anyone they perceive to be against their cause. Not only have federal agents been relentlessly assaulted for more than 100 consecutive days, black-clad anarchist militants concealing their identities behind black facial coverings.
Yo, these
have
guys
been
are
assaulting
staring, bro.
just for trying to cover their crimes. Today, I am sitting here
Bro.
with a black eye and a concussion
What?
after being violently hit in the face with a metal pole while reporting
She
outside
said a
the ICE
black guy and a
facility just this past
concussion?
week. After the attack,
I think I missed part of the
immediately
story,
went to
chat.
three Portland police officers
What did she have?
who refused to detain the suspect. I took the time to chase down the suspect in the streets, had her held for 35 minutes. I was waiting for Portland police to come. And
Oh,
they
she's
never
in
came.
Portland.
Then that's what opened to
Another
my eyes
one.
to what this group is actually doing. I watched 20 Antifa militants help my assault suspect escape into an Antifa
Oh, it
safe
can't be a
house
Trump stream
that's
without
one
seeing the
block
Epstein
away
list.
From the ICE facility. And this safe house is where Antifa-affiliated protesters are conducting paramilitary operations. It's where they're arresting, they're showering, they're eating to continue this
Black
occupation.
eye. That makes more
I have
sense.
staked out this safe house and have
With-
observed shift changes. This group is highly organized.
Why are we going back
but
to
it's being
Trump,
funded
bro?
through mutual aid groups, and they have no plans of stopping. Residents living across the ICE facility have been held hostage by Antifa. They're begging for federal intervention. The city refuses to help, and they want you, President Trump, to come in and restore law and order. I want to stress the importance of taking this situation seriously because when I first started
Black
reporting
eye
this
and cum
occupation, I
cussing?
went undercover in Black Bloc. I talked to
Something's
these
not
Antifa
right here.
militants. I lasted for about a month. They believe that
So it
ICE
said,
agents
"Girl,
are the
stop
Nazi
lying. You do not
stop
have a black
being
eye."
killed. They told me that directly, and I think that if this situation is not taken as seriously as it is, it's just a matter of time before someone
Bro,
gets
she's
killed.
dangerous. I'm telling you,
And
she's
thank
dangerous.
you
I
for
can
having
feel
me.
it. Thank you.
Katie, that's pretty incredible. The only question nobody can answer is why. Why are they doing this? They're like insurrectionists. They're terrible people. But you really wonder why. Why are they doing it? What are they gaining other than they're obviously paid? They're paid a lot of money. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, if I can answer that question, the reason why they're doing it is because the same media that's sitting in this room with us has declared all of us at this table Nazis and fascists, and they've
Now
been
who's
doing this
talking?
for years.
Can't
This
even
is why
see.
Antifa feels emboldened to attack us. Now, almost every single person at this table has been threatened with a steel bat. We've been assaulted, we've been harassed, we've been threatened, and that is in huge part due to the media. So my message right now is
Okay,
for
now
you
we
guys.
see.
Because 2 years ago, or back in 2020, by the way, I was censored for my reporting on Antifa here in Washington, D.C.
I heard.
We were talking about how safe
No,
it
it's
is.
not him.
Now, Mr. President, it wasn't so safe
She's
back
not
then, I said.
talking.
Back in 2020, I watched as a father was
It's not
being
that
mobbed
guy.
and surrounded by
Here we
Antifa
are.
members as his terrified, crying children looked on, and the police here did nothing. I watched as a woman had her hair violently ripped out of her skull simply for waving an American flag on the streets of Washington, D.C. And by the way, if you guys try to go and find any of this footage, you won't find any of it because Twitter deleted all of it because our president shared my reporting and they deleted my entire account immediately after. So now, if you want to
Sounds
know
like
what
you got
happened in
promoted to New
2020,
Game Plus,
all
girl.
you're going to see is the media headlines that said
It's a
it was
restart.
fiery but mostly peaceful. Thanks for that one, CNN. The reality is that it was an extremely violent period of time, and for the last 10 years, Antifa has been wreaking havoc on law-abiding and innocent American citizens, and it needs to end. Now, I'm with Turning Point USA. It's an honor to be here, Mr. President. Thank you guys so much, everybody in the administration, for giving us a seat at the table, because the media has not only been demonizing us for so long, but immediately after the brutal assassination of our founder, Charlie Kirk, our Turning Point USA chapters have seen an uptick in violence across the nation as Antifa chapters that are embedded in our universities go and target them. It's been extremely difficult to report on the ground, and for a long time I was afraid to go to Portland because I knew that the only people who would have my back, like Julio said, were one of my friends on the ground because there is no police force there. I was terrified to go because I knew if I got shot or stabbed, and I have been assaulted, I've been mobbed and robbed in Austin, Texas by Antifa, that nobody would come to help me. So my plea to the entire administration, especially to the DOJ, is every single radical left-winger who is in front of the ICE facility in Chicago, in New York, in Portland, please make sure that you use the full force of the law to come after each and every single one of them, because it is us being soft on left-wing violence that has fomented all of the terror that we have seen in this country, and it is the left wing getting away time and time again with assaulting law-abiding American citizens that has led us to this place. So truly, to the Americans that I speak to on the ground, they feel completely abandoned by their state and local government. So please step in. You have Americans begging for the National Guard, and to the media over here, please report on the truth. Please do your jobs. I'm an American citizen. Everybody at this table simply views ourselves as American citizens who have an iPhone and the will to actually tell the truth. So please take your job seriously and tell the truth to the American people. And thank you for letting me be here on behalf of Charlie to continue his legacy of cleaning up the country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow, you feel very strongly, I can see.
I'm mad. I got beat up so many times, Mr. President. My friends
hasn't
have gotten
talked yet,
beat
has
up,
she?
And I want to cry right now from happiness because we have been completely ignored for so long. For almost 10 years, we've been getting assaulted on the streets. I have watched children cry as their parents have been attacked on the streets. That should not be happening at our nation's capital. So please, again, the DOJ, please utilize the full force and go after each and every single one of these people.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Great job. Impassioned. That's important because you should feel like that. Please, go ahead.
Ooh, again, chat, you got to make sure you put your spaces in or it'll think you're posting links between your periods.
Brave journalists, everybody on this side of the room. And no one can speak to the violence better than these people.
Who's
here.
got an
So,
Apple product, brother?
I think we know that this is
This is
not
a
just
Samsung
a
Galaxy,
story about
Hums.
violence and chaos, as you alluded to, Mr. President. This is a money story. And at the Government Accountability Institute, my colleague and I, Peter Schweitzer and our team, we followed the money, and we followed it to the top of what we call the protest industrial complex, Riot Inc. And we found a network of NGOs. It's not just the Soros network, the Open Society network, it's other funding networks, the Arabella funding network, the Tides funding network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, Foreign Cash. And it's also big left-wing funders. Some of them are not citizens of this country.
Yo, we hit
Just a conduit of
13,000
news,
subscribers in the
they're
stream.
pouring money
Hell
into
yeah.
this
Thank you
entire
guys.
ecosystem.
Appreciate
So I'm
that.
not
We're
sure
on our
if
way to
we can back
100K.
you about what we
If you're not
call
locked in
Riot
now,
Inc.
you better
Number
join
one,
soon.
Like any corporation, Riot Inc. has many divisions. It doesn't just have the Antifa boots on the ground division. It has PR divisions. It has marketing divisions. It has a very well-funded legal division to get these boots on the ground back on the streets as quickly as possible. But it does have those investors that I mentioned. Number two, we have identified dozens of radical organizations, not just the decentralized Antifa organizations, but dozens of radical organizations that have received more than $100 million from the Riot Inc. investors. These would be the lawyer groups. These would be the groups that advocate for calling good, honest Americans fascists, et cetera. And then three, I think the most shocking thing is that we have found that more than $100 million in U.S. taxpayer funding has flowed into these funding networks, including at least $4 million to these very groups themselves, not just Antifa.
All the way
types,
at the end of the table. Here he
There
is.
was an event in Atlanta called Stop Cop City. Over 60 rioters were charged with domestic terrorism. These groups received money for that from both the billionaire class as well as taxpayer money. So one other thing, this money helps fund the decentralized crowdfunding platforms. These are ways that Antifa, the John Brown Gun Club of Elm Fork, which had links to that attack on the ICE facility, the Socialist Rifle Association, and just because they don't have LLCs or EIN numbers doesn't mean they can't get paid. Some of these funding platforms, crowdfunding platforms, are funded by this network that we call Riot Inc. So again, I want to thank you for your leadership, for the whole cabinet's leadership on this. We're going to keep following the money and appreciate everything you're doing, sir.
Do you know the name of any of the funders? Do you know the names? Because if you do, I'd like you to give them to Cash or
Yo, Michael, thank you for the sub on
Absolutely.
YouTube. Welcome in.
Yeah, we'll do that.
As soon as you can. That's all of you. Because you probably know the names after a certain period of time. You tend to find out. But
Yeah,
these are
weren't we
people
on a
who do
government
not have good
shutdown?
intentions
Is
for
that
the
done?
country, and that's treasonous, probably. So if you very important, if you could do that, it would be great. Nobody would know better than
Are we
you. You'll
we're
figure
still
it
on
out.
a government shutdown right
Thank
now?
you. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, my
Like
name's
right now?
Shirley. I'm 23 years old. I'm a 100% independent YouTube journalist.
YouTube
Over the past year or
journalist?
So I've been able to go to 15 countries. I've hung out with people in the gangs of Brazil, in the favelas, in the prisons of Secot. But yet the most dangerous places I have been here in the United States, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity to show people about the protest Antifa here in the United States.
I
and
feel
there's
as though
nothing
they're
organic about
anarchists.
what they are
Shouldn't
doing
change
here in the
what?
United States. I've watched people be bussed in from states. I've watched the same
Who's an
lady
anarchist?
at a protest in Atlanta. Be
You talking about
bused to this
Antifa?
Protest in D.C. and then in New York City.
I think
There's nothing
I don't
that
think any particular
is
group. I think
honest about what they are
people
doing.
that
And they have signs. I've seen the
incite
same signs
anarchy are
here in
anarchists.
DC and in London as
So the
well.
rioters,
It's a
the
big
looters,
organization and corporation
the
that
beaters.
they're running. And people may wonder, like, what's the threat to us?
It could
as
be
Americans if
Antifa
we
member,
go?
they could not
Well,
be,
you'll
I don't know.
labeled as a fascist, you'll be labeled as a Nazi, and they'll wish death upon you because they wish death
but there's
upon you.
definitely some riots
And
going
just
on.
Last week in Portland, Oregon, I watched a lady get trapped in her car, surrounded by Antifa.
Ooh, piece of candy.
And her sister messaged me after seeing the video. She said, the only reason I think my sister was safe is because you were there recording. I also was chased out by a member of Antifa who said he would smoke me. And next thing he knew, a DHS sniper had lasers on his chest. If he was not there, who knows what would have happened that day. These people are very dangerous, and people wonder how they're going to do it.
Ask me to change
reason is
it.
because these cities are not enforcing the law.
There's
And
anarchists
why should
everywhere,
people be
brother.
worried if the law is not being enforced? And
I'm trying to keep up with chat and the stream. It's hard to pay attention to both.
And the truth
There's a
about
lot
what's
of things
happening
going through
in
there.
America with
Vincent
these
and
groups
Grooman,
is
thank you for
very
the subs on
dangerous, and I
YouTube.
think
And
Mr.
Dr.
President
Ibram, I
and
missed you
Mr.
too.
Administration as well
All of
for
you, thank you for the
acknowledging
subs on YouTube. Welcome
Thank
in.
you very much. It's too bad you have to go through it.
I
but
know,
thank
it's a
you
little
very
crazy,
much,
right,
yeah.
Mr. President?
Well, you're going to get to the bottom of it, so it's a very important thing you're doing. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Please, Ken.
That's not what I wanted to
Yeah,
do.
I've just got something very short. I'm attacked every time I do my job. When I leave my house to go to work, I am violently assaulted. I've had guns pulled on me. I've been bear sprayed. I've been beaten down. I've been almost killed. So my question for all of you is, how would you feel if every time you showed up to work, masked militants tried to kill you? Because that's how we feel. That's our lived
He's the
reality.
president. You know,
guys
people
go
want to
and
kill
tell
him.
us that we're liars, that we're bad.
That guy
right?
Kyle,
I've never
he's been
seen you
shot in
on
the
ground.
ear.
In fact, I've never seen anybody representing the companies you work for on the ground. You guys come to us for interviews.
One of the
that aren't
biggest targets
published.
ever.
Stop saying we're lying. We're not. We
Thank you,
risk our
Kyle.
lives every day to do the job that you guys are too afraid to do.
What network would you say is the worst, if I could ask?
He's gonna say
Oh,
CNN,
man, yes,
brother.
sir.
I mean,
Tight
it's a
spot.
honestly, it's a simple question. And it's just,
Well, there's a lot of people in this pool, and I would say I'm not talking about Fox. I'm not talking about Newsmax or any outlet that resembles them. So I'll let you guys put the pieces together on who I'm exactly
who would
talking
you
about.
say? Which network? would you say?
MSNBC for sure.
Oh, they're terrible. I agree. They're terrible.
CNN, probably close. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather
MSNBC,
go with
CNN.
NBC. That's Brian Roberts.
Yeah,
That he allows that to happen is a disgrace.
absolutely.
And CNN is second.
White
I
House,
would say
Jamie.
CNN is not quite as bad as MS.
MSNBC is not
What
really a
about
news
others?
site anymore.
Oh, MSNBC is sick.
Yeah.
They're sick.
Well,
who-
sir, it's
who
also
else?
just the stories that they publish about what's the ICE
He said,
enforcement
"Who interrupted
operations
me?"
that are so heavily slanted that it's no longer, as I was saying, no longer just Antifa, but Americans that are becoming radicalized. So they've been very irresponsible with how they've been reporting
Who
on
is
it.
that?
MSNBC, for example, they're
Would you rate them the worst?
probably they
Who
ran
would
a
you
story.
rate second?
Well, they ran a story about an operation in Southern California about how a father of 3 Marines was arrested, and they made it seem like they just did it because he's brown. But there's video.
I can
of
hear
that
he's shaky
same
in his
man
voice.
charging at the agents
He
with
wanted
a weed
to
whacker.
come out
Now,
and say this.
I
I'm
worked
proud of
with
you for
weed
speaking up.
whackers, back in the day, and you don't want to be on the receiving end of one of those. So that's why he was arrested. But the story was presented as if it's a brown guy just simply being arrested. And I've been around ICE agents, and I'm a citizen, so I feel fine. But it's just that's why. It's not just Antifa. It's not happening in a vacuum.
He said, "What is the
No, it's
second
working
place?"
in conjunction.
He's gonna
I
ask
think
it
they work
again.
In conjunction with some of the media. I think ABC is very bad. I think NBC is very bad. And CBS has a new owner, so we have hope for CBS. CBS has a great new owner, my opinion. But I will tell you, ABC is terrible. NBC is terrible. NBC's MSNBC too. They changed it. They moved it over legally so they couldn't be tainted by the words MSNBC. But they are absolutely terrible. There are a lot of them. What about independents?
Independence.
Don't worry, Chandra. I saw your message.
They're
You
a
got to
little
put
better,
spaces
but I
in
would
between
say
the
that
periods, or
we're
it
an
thinks it's a
example
link.
of how you don't need to be part of a super large company to be able to do just basic journalism. All you got to do is sit and record, and you'll let the story play out. And that's why they hate us. That's why Antifa
Well, I
targets
watched
us.
a level of dishonesty that's incredible, where answers are changed. Like just before the election, an answer was changed by Kamala. She gave a horrible,
Don't be rude.
death-defying.
Steve, thank you for the sub on YouTube. Welcome
answer.
in.
And they took the answer out and they replaced it with another answer that she gave 5 minutes later, having to do with a different subject, but at least it wasn't election-defying. No, the level of dishonesty with the media is incredible, whether it's on Antifa or many of the other groups. You're talking about Antifa, and I know that's close to your heart because that's the one that's most affecting you, but there are others that are as bad or almost as bad as Antifa, having to do with different people, different sections of the world, but it's terrible. We're not going to let it go on in this country. We're not going to let it go on. And a big problem is not all of them, but some of the networks out there. And you do wonder why. You really do. Okay, please. Go ahead, yeah.
Mr. President, thank you again.
Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Cho. I am an investigative reporter for Frontlines Turning Point USA. I'm also a senior fellow at Discovery Institute in Seattle. And I cover far-left extremism as well as the homeless drug crisis in America. And I find it oftentimes those worlds intersect. And hot off the presses, what I wanted to bring to your attention today is a report from a Capital Research Center here in DC in conjunction with Discovery Institute. They just put out this study right now. And what it shows is that Antifa is heavily embedded in the homeless and housing nonprofit sector. In many cases, the homeless
Yo, homie's hitting like he's onto
is
something.
running cover for Antifa. Antifa is benefiting from American
This man act like he
tax
cracked the
dollars,
Matrix.
and they're essentially being used as the muscle. Let me give you an example. There's a group called Stop the Sweeps in many U.S. cities right now. They get in front of encampment sweeps. What they're doing quietly is they're bringing in Antifa militants to manufacture a crisis to make the police look bad. Another group right now that is behind Antifa and working with Antifa very closely, based on the research that we have right now that we're going to give to you and your team, are the Democratic Socialists of America, also known as DSA. Again, these far-left progressive groups tend to be aligning themselves with Antifa. So finally, in closing, what I wanted to thank you again, Mr. President, is that a few months ago, earlier this year, you put out an executive order on homelessness and the drug addiction crisis in America, and that's sent the entire homeless industrial complex on the run. You have absolutely moved the needle and changed the game. But what's also come out, again, is that there is a connection, a deeply embedded connection with the homeless housing nonprofit game in America, connected to Antifa and the far-left activists. And finally, I just wanted to say that all of our resources at Turning Point USA and Discovery Institute are at your disposal, and we will continue again to carry on the legacy of Charlie Kirk. He would have wanted us to pursue and chase the story.
Well, he was a good friend of mine, as you know, and he helped us get elected. Us, it really is us. It's even some of them, but not too many of them, not enough of them. And did you notice when we mentioned CNN and MSDNC, the cameras went off. Two of the cameras immediately went off, but they're not going to cover it anyway. The problem we have is that this is a very important meeting, but you'll see very little press about it. These are major statements being made by major people, including the people right here, and you're not going to see too much about it. They don't like to cover this kind of thing. So it's very dishonest what's going on there. I think the press is a big factor. Please, go ahead. Thank you, James.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having us all here to bring attention to this matter. You know, you did mention MSDNC, CNN, a handful of those other outlets that have been lying about, I mean, various things, but especially what
This is just
ICE,
shit talk
brave
network,
men
I
and women
guess.
over at
Like,
ICE have been doing. I was talking to Antifa members in Portland the other day, and you know, a lot of these people genuinely believe, they buy these lies, and they genuinely believe that they're fighting against literal Nazis and not brave men and women that are putting their lives on the line to basically, you know, enforce basic immigration law, right? That everyone seemed to agree with up until maybe a few years ago, a handful of years ago. So once again, thank you so much for having me. My name is James Klug. While my primary job is traveling around the country, having conversations with Americans about various political topics and issues, you know, I have had a lot of run-ins with Antifa over the last 5 years. And I do think that Antifa is a primary reason why many conservatives are afraid to go out and protest and make their voices heard and maybe bring friends and family to a demonstration and exercise their First Amendment right, because they are literally deathly afraid. And I talk to these people all the time. They're afraid of militants showing up in black bloc and hurting them and their families. And, you know, I've personally witnessed Antifa assaulting hundreds of police officers. I've witnessed them firebombing police departments and federal property. I've witnessed them making death threats against federal agents, police officers, journalists. I think I've witnessed every single person here, maybe not personally, but I've seen them get, you know, hunted down and attacked. And so, you know, this is a
I don't even want to tell you guys what I've seen in Memphis, bro.
For a good percentage, if not a majority, of the violent riots.
I'm telling you,
2020,
some of these places cannot be as bad as Memphis.
Mayors had a kind of a
Cannot.
hands-off approach with these left-wing militants. Just as a quick reminder for everybody, we're talking about dozens of murders that happened in those
Everybody
riots.
make
We're
sure you double
talking
tap
about
your screen. We might hit
millions of dollars
200
of
likes in
damage
this
to,
stream. We hit
property
13K
communities
subscribers.
all
Let's
over
keep
the
it
country.
pushing.
We're talking about thousands of officer
I got the real homies
injuries.
up
So
here.
This isn't just like some little thing that they're, you know, oh, they punch a journalist here and there. No, they're responsible for a lot of damage and a lot of people that have, you know, unfortunately died. And
Portland, bro, I'm telling you, Memphis,
basically
bro.
suppressing people's
Memphis.
voices, you know.
Portland
And
might be
so,
bad.
what I did want to talk about
Memphis,
is,
bro.
to get this footage, almost every single person in the room here, to get this footage, you have to go undercover because
I should make
you are
that
at
the
risk
poll.
of being beaten or worse. You have to go undercover. You have to film low key.
Chat, what do you think is worse, Portland or Memphis?
This is stuff that the mainstream media was not doing and has not been doing. They'll show when Antifa is maybe it's a little bit more peaceful, and they'll show when it's more mellow. But they'll remove the cameras when things get violent and it's actually dangerous to be here. And I have personally witnessed legacy media vans showing up at a riot 300 yards away, getting out of the vehicle, filming for 30 seconds, saying
See,
something
bro,
like,
I saw people
you
in
know,
frog
fiery but mostly
costumes in
peaceful,
Portland.
packing up, and to add insult to injury. You have Democrat politicians that are saying it's just
That doesn't sound threatening at all.
That's all this is. So it's just an idea. After all of this chaos, it's just an idea. Well, that idea has threatened to kill me and many of my friends that are here today. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for bringing this to the forefront, and it's definitely making a big change. Really appreciate you.
One question. So why is it there are numerous groups? I mean, Antifa's terrible, but you have other groups that
Chat looks like
I
they're a
guess
little
probably
split.
are almost as bad or just
The
as bad.
states with the highest crime rate:
Not
New
one
Mexico,
other group
Louisiana,
was
Arkansas,
mentioned. I'm
Tennessee,
sort of
Mississippi.
surprised at that.
For real?
You just come into contact with Antifa?
Mississippi
It
hit
seems to me that
5?
You mostly come into contact
I'm going to have
with
to
Antifa.
fact check that. I haven't seen the updated
I would say
statistics.
that, for instance,
It's crazy.
Jonathan brought up the Democratic Socialists of America. They're basically the same thing. I mean,
What are the
there's
crimes
a
against
lot
the
of
deer?
Democratic Socialists of America who are out there in black bloc, hiding their faces. And so I think we use, and I do understand, for the record, I do understand the challenge, as Andy pointed out, with Antifa as a graspable entity. I do. But at the end of the day, when you look at behavior, you prosecute behavior, right? We're not prosecuting ideas or ideology, you're prosecuting behavior. So whether you can prove that this amorphous thing is Antifa or someone has a patch that says Antifa, it doesn't matter. Did they assault someone? Did they assault a federal agent? Were they engaged in rioting? What is it? And so they're always using that, oh, well, they don't call themselves Antifa, even though some of them literally do. It's called Rose City Antifa. How long has it been around in Portland, Andy?
Since 2007.
They call themselves Antifa. In Seattle, I was outside the federal building, and they were yelling, "There's no police here. This is Antifa land." And then at the same time, Democrats, like our governor.
All right, Chad, I am going to have to stop us off there. We are a little over our update hour for the day. I let it leak on a little bit because this is a longer one. We will wrap up this on our next politics stream, and I got one more thing planned for us on that next one. If you're new here, hit that sub button. Thank you guys for sticking around. The chat has been absolutely insane, and I'll see you guys on the next update hour. You know what I'm saying? We'll be here, joint rolled. You better be on the same page. Yo, next streamer you scroll into, tell them Tara sent you and they're sending love. Everybody go spread love. I'm going to be checking. I'm going to scroll in my feed. Y'all better hit them chats and say, Tara sent me. I'm sending love. Go, 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 go. Get out of here. Scram. Scatter to the wind, you algorithm watchers. Enjoy your day. Bye.